Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by the head baseball coach at Hartland High School. That, of course, is Brad Guenther. Of course, if you haven't, Hartland, of course, won the Division I state title for baseball. Their first since 2015, exactly 10 years ago. Exactly 10 years ago. Brad, how have the past few days been?
It's still a little surreal, honestly. Yeah, it's an unbelievable run by the boys. Feeling super proud. Gotten a lot of messages, from the 2015 team and just a lot of my former teammates, and just overall proud feeling. And definitely, I don't think it's hit me that much. I haven't been alone a ton. Being out here at the field is a little tough right now. Kind of wish the boys are out here practicing, but yeah, just a super proud feeling. And I think in the coming days or weeks, I think it'll really hit me on what they accomplished and kind of the run they went on, and what we were able to do. So yeah, just a special run, and still getting messages, still feeling really good about it. So yeah, proud of the boys.
Yeah, no, obviously there's been, there's been a lot of champions that have, been able to do it. Of course, your counterpart of course, Taylor Wagner, the softball coach, of course, did it a couple years ago. And then, the KLAA West seems to just find their way to get it done. Novi 2 years ago, Northville last year, and you guys this year. What does it just say about the conference that you guys are in? Um, to seem like it's one of at least one of you guys is there when it matters most.
Yeah, I've always thought it's a really competitive conference, and I love the structure of it. That there's like a little tournament format at the end, so kind of rewards you for doing well in the conference in the regular season. From a pitching standpoint and like a strategy standpoint, I like that where you can kind of prioritize the league games. And our goal is always kind of to be in that running in the top two in the West, so we can play the semifinal and hopefully get to the final. I feel like those are super competitive games and more like playoff atmosphere. And that's kind of what you're trying to do as a coach. At least that's what I try to do, is put my guys in those competitive environments, competitive games. That's how you kind of get better. We lose and we get better. We win and get better. We figure out how to play in those moments when it's pressure filled and the games are a little more meaningful to the kids. You're playing ranked teams. You're playing kids who are going to Division I colleges. You're playing super talented teams and successful programs over and over. And there's really no let up in the schedule. So,
Right.
and that goes for our conference too. So some of the teams who finish last always beat some of the better teams in the regular season. And yeah, there's no easy games, man. Sometimes when you have two or three really good pitchers in those, you can make it look easy. I know my first year we were 15-0 and we lost in the championship. I know 2023 Northville went undefeated, which is just like unbelievable. That means they were an incredible team. So yeah, the conference is super good. I also think like we don't win versus Brighton or Howell, I think one of those teams could make a run in the state playoff run. So yeah, super competitive conference and super proud to be a part of it for sure.
Absolutely. And also, it just comes down to this, and this has just always been the case. This is just baseball. Baseball is a funny, funny, funny game, and you never know what could happen. Anybody can beat anybody. The thing is, if you could be the best team out there, and you can get in a slump, and may not give your best effort, and that could really propel you to do some big things. If you're hot, and it can get you a lot of ways. And well, it's just baseball. It's like you get a big hit here and a little bunt here, and it could really take you a lot of places. What was the biggest part of the run where it was like, I knew you got. I mean, I know the guys like we can do this and all that stuff, but when did it really hit you like we may have something here?
I think every game I said pretty similar stuff. We didn't. You could go through each game, and each game presents its own challenges, right? The first game, Brighton, Everson knocked us out last year. Everson's going to Michigan State. Everson no hit us this year. So we got one hump. We got one like mountain we got to climb right away, right? And doesn't get easier after Brighton. You get Howell, Sonorol, who one hit us in the KLA championship, had an unbelievable year. Howell's a super competitive team,
Yeah.
super good hitting team, super scrappy. Every game we played versus them was a close one. Besides the one that they beat us in the championship, where we didn't really play our best game and they dominated. So then Celine, right? We faced a really good sophomore, and so you could go through it, and every single game is you're kind of looking at it like, yeah, we have a good chance to win, but we need to play our A game. And yes, it is about us, but guess what? They're going to do some things well, and in those pressure situations, we got to execute. We got to be at our best. We gotta be ready for our moments. That's kind of what I kept saying. And it's a momentum sport too. You're trading zeros. The dugouts are rah rah, right? And the team that can kind of stay mentally locked in and kind of take control of those moments, they can get out of a jam when they need to. They can get that big hit like what you were talking about. And quite frankly, we failed a lot on the playoff run on getting the guy on third base in, but we were able to respond defensively and keep stacking zeros. And when we needed it, we got it done offensively. So that was really the name of the game. Every single game, it was we had a good chance to win. We got to play our A game. We got to respond in those moments when they're playing their best, right? And whatever it takes, taking a mound visit or coming together in between innings offensively and just kind of reviewing or flushing maybe some negative things that have happened and kind of refocusing. I think that's kind of what we did. We grinded it out every single game. And so that's what kind of made it so special and kind of surreal, I think, right? We
Yeah.
could have lost any one of those 7 games, but those guys, my guys in the pressure moment, the coaches too, right? Because we're clicking the right buttons and saying the right things. And it's definitely not just me. We got a whole staff who's working with their mental game and working with them hitting every single day and what's the approach on these guys and scouting reports where my one of my assistants stays up all night watching the other team and getting a scouting report when we're not really familiar with the guy, right? So total team effort, and I think that's what is so special about it for sure. So
Yeah. What's the moment you're going to most remember? I know there's been going to be a ton of them, but I think the championship game is probably one of the biggest ones. Like what's going to stand out from this run?
yeah, man, there's a lot of moments for sure that were game changers. I think at the end of the game, being able to see how impactful it was for some of these players and just hearing kind of what they've been saying about it's been a 4-year journey. And it's just some great relationships, right? So being able to share those moments with those guys who have been working so hard for it. And you could just feel it in the embrace and the hugs or seeing their reactions or seeing their interviews, how much it meant to them, how much they really invested in all of this. And yeah, I think just it was a perfect ending for those seniors' career. And yeah, I think just kind of that celebration, right? That's something I'll always remember. The run, I kind of remember. I feel like my recall on the games is terrific, where I can kind of remember each pitch. I can remember the details of it, right? So I'm going to remember a lot of moments and huge plays that maybe other people don't even remember. Like for instance, the last play of the game, we took a mound visit right before it, and we said, "Hey, the runner on first doesn't mean anything. Ty, you're not holding the runner. We're in kind of a no doubles defense." And the kid hits a sharp one down the first baseline. And if Ty's holding them on, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure he's there for that play. So it's a culmination of a lot of these decisions and moments that I'll always remember. And I feel like we always preach the right thing as the coaching staff, and to kind of have it pay off, right, is it's a good feeling.
Absolutely. For you personally, because there's a lot, I mean, I think I said this to another coach years ago. There's a lot of people that have been doing this for a long time and may have never got to the point that you got to. What was it like to just experience just for you as a coach, to be on the biggest stage?
Yeah, one of those guys is in our dugout too. Mike Zielinski, Michael's dad, was coaching with us, and he's going to continue to coach with us. But he mentioned maybe 26 years coaching high school baseball, and I don't think he'd ever been to the semifinals. I think the quarterfinals was the furthest he's ever gotten. As a player, I was lucky enough to be part of a great program, and we went to quarterfinal, final, And then after I left, they went to another final. So it was three straight finals for Celine. So I knew the kind of the experience as a player, but there you kind of have more control of it, right? And you're kind of playing the game, and I was the catcher, so I felt like I had a lot of control in those games. And as a coach, it's really on the boys to go out and execute. I kind of mentioned this earlier. People were giving me a lot of credit, and I think I do a good job, easing the pressure and working really hard with them and different things like that. But at the end of the day, I'm saying words to them and trying to get them in the right mindset, and they got to go out there and execute. And it's on them, and it's just they're the ones who won it, and just by going out and playing some good baseball. So super proud of that effort by that team. And I we kept preaching on the run. This ain't guaranteed, so this definitely isn't a guaranteed thing where we're going to be making it back here every single year. It takes a little bit of luck, takes a little bit of team chemistry and a special team. And that's not every single year. So we came together at the right time. We were able to play our best baseball, and so um, yeah, so that was kind of what I think was the biggest factors in that run. So just getting back to it, we're hoping we can, right? But I think we'll always work for it. But yeah, it's a special run when you can make it there. I think getting to the semifinals, every team there kind of knew. I think that's kind of the feeling once you're there. It's a pretty special run. You're one of four teams in the division to continue playing. Once you get it to the finals, it's even more of a grateful opportunity. Is kind of what it felt like. So
Yeah.
just make the most of it. That was kind of the message, and yeah, I'm glad we capped it off.
So here's another thing maybe a lot of people didn't know was for mostly the entire run or for a big chunk of it, the seniors didn't have to go to school, and really most everyone didn't. School was out just before Memorial Day, so for a big chunk of the run, a lot of the kids didn't have to go to school. They just had to get up and play. Do you think that had any effect on the run where it's just like you just get up in the morning and you go practice and do all that?
Yeah, I think our schedule kind of hurts us at certain points in the season, but definitely during the playoffs, I think it's a benefit for us to not be in school to kind of control the practice schedule, right? We can kind of factor in the weather and work around the weather throughout that too. And yeah, I think our season schedule is so challenging with practice time. We have a lot of different things, not only with Hartland, but just the KLAA. We play league games Monday, Wednesday.
Right.
If you play a doubleheader on Saturday, that's four games a week. That's just not enough, right? So we filled a lot of a third day throughout our school week with a game. It was mainly on Fridays. It was either a doubleheader or a single game. So just think about that schedule where now they're leaving school early three times a week. I'm having to leave elementary school a little bit earlier too, and my sub schedule is a little bit crazy. But the
Right.
practice schedule is just challenging. And then you get a Tuesday, Thursday where you're not playing, and maybe it's raining, or maybe you guys are just beat up, or you're tired from all the games, and so it's hard to kind of get on a in rhythm on a practice schedule, right? And coming down the stretch, we didn't play any games before districts. We had our first full week of like real practice with good weather, no school, nothing really else to worry about. It was just kind of baseball focused. And yeah, I think that benefited us. We cleaned up a lot of things. We weren't really playing. We were playing it in phases. We were playing good baseball, and then we kind of fell off. But on the run, if we had one or two bad innings, it was probably over for us, right? One of these games turns into a loss. So I think the boys came together that week of practice, even, and kind of cleaned some things up, and knew it was going to be kind of a battle each game. And yeah, we took it one. My motto too is one pitch at a time. It's what my college coach always instilled in me. Wayne State, Ryan Kelly. He's always win the next pitch, one pitch at a time. So that's one of our mottos too. Is we throw a ball. It's like, so what? Next pitch. Yeah, and so I think they were able to kind of focus in, and the practice week was definitely a huge part of that. So
Yeah. So, now that the season's concluded, obviously you still have to do some things to wrap things up, but there's also a couple other extra things you have to do. With the ring ordering and all that other stuff and the banquet. What's that process going to be like? Because that's always a fun process for coaches that I've talked to about that.
Yeah, so my assistants are helping me with it, honestly. So Cal Gadwa, Alex Trojan, two longtime Hartland guys. Alex, I know, was part of the 2015 team, but they're having a fun time helping with the design. I know my phone's blowing up currently with some design ideas and things we can put on the ring and how we can make that fun and meaningful and kind of like what we were about. So they're helping with that. All the coaches are kind of looking at that stuff. The banquet's kind of set for next week. Yeah, and we're looking forward to getting back together. I know Buffalo Wild Wings reached out. There was an awesome broadcast. I got it downloaded that I'll have forever of the game. But super professional broadcast, details about the game. They knowledgeable about the game. B Dubs was talking about hosting us there where we could rewatch it. We kind of do something special out at our field with like a banner and a plaque and a windscreen. So we might do like a night where we do that. We'll probably have a football game where we get honored at half, stuff like that. So we're kind of getting recognized by the community, and they get to kind of keep coming back. And yeah, it's a special moment because of that, where we'll always be able to come back together and want to get back together because we accomplished something special. So only one team can do it, and especially for Division One. So yeah, it's a super fun next few months, and I'm looking forward to it.
Um, and last two things, having the community out there, the big support that they brought. A lot of people were out there and cheering you guys on, and also for the seniors. A pretty good senior class that you've had. That a lot of them are going to go and continue their baseball careers. I know one is going to continue his hockey career. But what does the senior class mean to this program?
Yeah, man. Every year is a little bit different in that senior class. This senior class was really just bought in. They had kind of gone through it, and everyone who had made the team last year was extremely hard worker. And I think one of my biggest strengths as a coach is providing opportunities for them to continue to develop. That means I'm providing my time for them. I'm out at the field or at the weight room with them, or at least setting that stuff up for them. And they kind of hit the ground running all the whole off season. We start the first day of school. I think it was like August 14th. We were in the weight room, and that goes all the way through the season. The last week of the season, we were in the weight room twice. So right before the state finals on Thursday, before we left, we did a little bit of a mobility routine. So we have the resources. I always say it's like some of the best resources. We have our own strength coach, and they take advantage of that. The senior class, that was something I kept bringing up the whole time, was a lot of them earned a lot of those spots in the confidence that it takes, to take that next step. Caden C, Roman Forsha are two that come right off the top of my head who didn't really play that much as juniors, and they show up pretty much every day in the off season. They don't miss anything, and they're working extremely hard, and they definitely showed the younger guys how to do it the right way and led by example. I think from that standpoint, leaders kind of do it all differently. We had kind of a quieter group overall from the senior class, but they're just like tireless workers and best friends, and the unity and camaraderie from the seniors is that's kind of what made us a special team, I think. Those juniors kind of fit in with that group too super well, and a lot of them and the sophomores obviously bring great things to the table too. But the senior classes kind of lead the team, I think, and take the identity of the team a lot of the years, especially when you have 9 of them. So yeah, I think it was a special group, special off season. Kind of had those butterflies. Kind of felt like we were flying in under the radar after a pre-district loss last year. That's how it felt to me. And I knew the makeup of the team last year. We could have gone on a run last. It's baseball games, like what you were saying. All these things are so close. We might be like a defensive play away last year from making a run, right? And it's a lot of the same players. So they they took that loss on the chin and they responded and they worked their butts off for that moment. And yeah, I don't think they would have gotten there without working so hard. So special senior class, special team, special unity by them for sure. You mentioned the community too, just hitting back on that. We work with them a lot in the off season. I do some stuff with different it's Haya, Hartland area,
Yep.
youth. It's like the Youth Athletic Association. A lot of travel teams through that come do lessons, or individual kids who come do lessons. Obviously, I teach at the elementary school, so just working with those younger kids who are coming up, the support was incredible. And a lot of the guys showed up in their uniform. They had just gotten done playing a game. They're representing. They look like they're part of the Hartland program in the future. And yeah, it's a super cool feeling to see, just us compared to them. They had a big student section, but I'm not sure they had a big youth program support. Ours was mainly families and, kids who go to Hartland schools. And yeah, it was a super, super fun thing to see.
Okay. All right. Well, Brad, thank you so much for the time as always. Congrats on winning a state title and thanks for talking with us.
Appreciate it, Casey.